Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we are in my kitchen. I have my apron on, which means that I'm going to be sharing one of my recipes with you. I do often get a message here and there wondering when I'm going to be bringing some more Puerto Rican recipes, and this time around I wanted to bring you one of my favorite recipes, which is Empanadillas de Pollo Guisado. And this is my twist of doing the Empanadillas de Pollo, which is almost like a turnover filled and stuffed with shredded chicken. And if you have not had one of these before or haven't even tried it before, you want to go ahead and ensure that you save this in your favorite recipe tab for future reference. So let's get started. These are some of the ingredients that we're going to be using to make our empanadillas de pollo. I will be going through those shortly here, but briefly, we're going to need some empanadillas, and you can find this in the freezer aisle, Goya. These are 10 discs to do the turnovers. You'll need between 4 to 5 pieces of chicken breast. We're going to be using 1 envelope of Sazón Goya. I do have some homemade sofrito, and I will link in the description bar in the cards up top my recipe of how I make my own sofrito. Some garlic. These are baby potatoes, which is why I took 4 of them, depending on how much I want to add. It could be between 3 to 4 small ones, or maybe just 1 good sized one. We'll be using 1 bay leaf or so, some oregano, water, some olives, some fresh cilantro. We have here some chicken broth, some adobo for seasoning, garlic powder, and even some chicken bouillon. I did forget to mention 1 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. I like to use basil, garlic, and oregano just because it has full flavor, and the more flavor, the better for me. And I will go ahead and break all of the ingredients and specify exactly the amounts that we're going to be using for this recipe. I have gotten a large enough pot here that I am going to be using to start cooking my chicken so that we can later on shred it. I'm going to be turning on my stove to a high setting as possible. My stove goes from 1 to 10. I'm going to leave it at a 10. I'm going to be pouring 4 cups of water in here. I'm going to be adding 4 cubes of bouillon, because for every 8 ounces you need 1 cube of bouillon or chicken cubes. This will just give a flavor to the chicken as it is cooking thoroughly. I add all my chicken breast into the pot and make sure it is cooked thoroughly. Once the chicken is cooked, I start putting it in a bowl and start shredding away little by little, ever so often, and step by step. I stop temporarily from shredding the chicken and put my focus on the stove again. I get a small pot with some water and start getting that to a boil. As that is doing its thing, I am peeling my potatoes, and I'm going to go off and dice them and placing them in a small little bowl. And once that is completed and cut, I am going to go to my stove, add a little bit of salt to that boiling hot water, and cook those for about 10 to 15 minutes. You're going to get tired of seeing this, but ever so often you will stop and see me shred the chicken more and more each time. Here in my large pan, I'm adding some olive oil. I'm putting this in medium-high heat, placing my chicken right back into the pan to get that heated. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab 2 tablespoons of sofrito that I had made. If you're interested in this recipe, I will include this in the cards up top. And you're going to tell that I am grabbing the leftover broth that I had cooked the chicken breast in. I'm going to be adding ever so often, maybe a little less than half a cup of that broth into the pan, so I can make this almost as a stewed chicken. And then you're going to be adding some adobo to taste and 1 little envelope of Sazón. That's going to give it that rich orangey red color and add flavor to it as well. Here I'm adding about 2 cloves of minced garlic and heating it up with the chicken. And as that is heating up and cooking and letting those fragrance come about, I am shredding that chicken even more, adding about a teaspoon of garlic powder, and also adding 1 teaspoon of oregano for full flavor. Adding a little bit more of that leftover chicken broth that I had cooked with the chicken breast. And then I'm going to be adding here 1 bay leaf into the pot to continue to cook. This recipe is all about full flavor, so I'm adding about a teaspoon of fresh cilantro into the pan and continuously shredding the chicken even more. And then you're going to be seeing shortly that I'm going to be adding some olives for full flavor here, along with my potatoes that at this point were done cooking. And I'm going to be folding that into my shredded chicken. Now with the tomato sauce, I'm going to be scooping a couple tablespoons at a time, folding that in, heating that tomato sauce, and if I feel like I need a little bit more, then I'm going to go ahead and add a little more, heat that up thoroughly, and once that is completed, I'm going to be grabbing my chicken stuffing into my dough, wetting the outside perimeter of the dough, grabbing it and connecting it from one side to the other, pinching it with my fingers, and then grabbing a fork and completely sealing both sides of the empanadas. I know that sometimes in these videos it's hard to catch it on the first time, so I'm giving you another example so you can hopefully follow easily and catch on. In a large enough pan, you want to go ahead and make sure you have some oil. You could use olive oil, you can use coconut oil. Heat that until the oil is thoroughly warmed up, making sure that it is golden on both sides before enjoying. Once my empanadas are thoroughly cooked and golden brown on both sides, I place them on a paper napkin lined plate, ready to absorb any excess oil, letting those cool down for about 1 or 2 minutes before enjoying. So I'm finally done with these empanadillas. I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to enjoy one of these. If you happen to try this recipe, please leave me a comment below. Let me know how yours turned out. If you added anything else, leave it in the comment section below so we can also try those variations. Hit me a thumbs up. Even share the recipe to any of your friends or people who might like to enjoy these Puerto Rican empanadas de pollo. Have a great day. Buen provecho. ¿Está bueno, Jolly? Thumbs up. Y buen provecho.